All right. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. We are going to start bar class today on our feet. You'll probably want to go ahead and collect various things for stuff we do on the floor at the end of class, because we will have a section of work on the mat. We do some kind of basic Pilates movements as well as some stretching. We're going to take it kind of easy today, but still focus on our core. So you're going to want to have something for the inner thighs. It can be a block or a ball, right? Something that you can use for alignment and also inner thigh activation. You'll also want some weights. Cans of soup work really well if you don't have formal barbells. Also, water bottles, stuff like that will work well. And of course, whatever you want to lie on the ground with later. Collect all the stuff now. You don't have to hunt for it later on in class. Okay, so we will actually start with some standing core work with a ball between the knees or inner thighs. All right, so in my own opinion, core work should be exceedingly practical. Right. So if you can't relate it to how you spend the rest of your day, it might just be an interesting discipline, but it's not much more than that. So we're going to relate core work to standing, which is one of the benefits of doing bar. And get your feet underneath your hips. Identify your hips on either side of your pubic bones. Maybe visualize, or even with the front and back of your hands, feel the shape of the pelvis and make sure that the ribs are aligned over top. Now you've got a couple of choices when you align the ribs. You can keep the ribs aligned and smash them down into the belly. That's a thing. Or you can do the other thing, which is my suggestion. You keep the ribs aligned, and as you exhale and squeeze the ball, feel like you have a stretch picking you up through the crown that helps lift the rib cage off the waist a little bit. Now, sometimes people displace forward or back in an effort to lift. I don't want you to truly lift out of line. I just want you to feel stretch up through the sides of the waist. Inhale through the nose when you're ready for that. Squeeze the ball, and exhale. Feel that space between the pelvis and the ribs without distorting the line of your spine. We do this a couple more times, and you'll continue on your own breath pacing. As you squeeze the inner thighs, as you exhale, know that transversus travels in a transverse way and contracts toward the side of your waist. So it supports the stretch between the ribs and the pelvis and actually causes it. We do 3 more breaths out, focusing on that exhale and support through the sides of the waist. Know that transversus is very deep to the surface, and so it's under all the other layers of muscle and fascia that move the spine. Transversus moves the breath. Have one more exhale and feel the contraction sort of activating from bottom to top, encouraging the exhale on its way outward. Keep the height of the waist, that is the transversus muscle, engaged, and engage pelvic floor. Feel the big toes into the ground. Keep your Kegel and inhale downward. Keep the height of the waist, but allow the bottom of the ribs to flare outward a little bit. Exhales are the same. Keep your Kegel, your core, and use the diaphragm to exhale or inhale, bottom of the ribs moving outward. And then on the exhale, diaphragm relax inward, relaxes inward. Do this a couple more breaths, feeling the interplay of the two parts of the breath. Exhales, activating transversus specifically. Inhales, moving toward pelvic floor, maintain that support. Exhale and inhale another time. And on this next exhale, squeeze the inner thighs and slowly bend the knees. You're flexing at the ankles and the hips as well. Keep your Kegel and inhale, straighten the legs. Squeeze the ball and exhale, bend your knees. Feel the breath support continuing to build your height even as you lower your center. Keep your Kegel and inhale, pull the breath down even as you raise your center. And do 3 more of these. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, stretch your legs. Still applying the breath connections 2 more times. And one more time. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Squeeze the ball, and on your exhale breath, we are going to come up to a releve. I know we've got some folks with injuries this morning. If you're unable to releve, just stand in place and reactivate the breath. Kegel, inhale, lower the heels down. Now, as the exhale rises, the center also rises, and of course, I'm referring to your pelvis. As the inhale descends, so does your center. We do 3 more of these. Exhaling up and inhaling down. And one more. Now exhale, bend into the knees. Guide the knees forward in the direction of your ankles and your toes. And we stay here for a little bit. We're going to pulse downward 5 times, using the exhale to lower the hips a little bit more as we keep neutral spine. Could be you need to tilt a little further forward to keep the heels on the ground. That's okay. Inhale, come up a little bit. And exhale, lower the hips, flexing more deeply in the chain of the legs. And up a little bit. 3 more, please. Squeezing the ball steady over your feet. Try not to weeble wobble around on the floor. Kegel, inhale. And one more. Up a little bit. And then exhale, lower again to the bottom of your plie. Have your palms forward by your sides. Now we're going to do a little bit of extension through the upper half of the rib cage here. We want to keep the bottom half of the rib cage aligned with the belly wall. And I know your legs are probably getting tired. That's fine. Keep your core. And on the next inhale breath, as you hold your Kegel, you're going to sweep the arms upward as the fingertips lift past the height of the shoulders. Feel not only the shoulder extension, but the stretch between the upper ribs. And exhale, arms lower to your sides. Kegel, inhale, sweep the arms up, secure the bottom of the ribs. Feel the top of the ribs stretching along with the shoulders. And exhale down. 2 more. Inhale. And this can be a lot of focus work at the very least, if you're really maintaining awareness of where your bottom of the ribs sit. Lower your hands. Inhale, stretch through your legs. If you're able to, exhale, press up onto the toes. Inhale, bend into the knees. Exhale, lower your heels. And inhale, stretch. Now, if you have to eliminate the releve portion of this particular sequence, you can just resume your plies, the second set. Also possible just to stand in place and breathe. Inhale, bend the knees, guide them forward. Exhale, plant your heels and up. We have 2 more. And 1 more. Exhale, press up. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, lower your heels. Inhale, stretch. And now rise up if you can. If you can't, of course, just keep your heels on the floor. We're going to try and keep our balance here on straight legs. And on the exhale breath, rather than the inhale breath, lift the arms in front and maybe return to extension of upper back. Inhale, arms come down. And we do 3 more times. Keep the legs straight. So that's the difference here. Exhale, holding balance. And inhale. 2 more. Stay with me. Squeezing the inner thighs. Keeping the bottom of the ribs will help go a long way rather, toward helping you keep your balance. Lower your arms to your sides. Exhale, lower your heels. Inhale, stretch your hips down and back. Plie. Put your hands to your thighs and exhale, round the spine forward, catwise. Inhale, go the other way. So now the extension that we were doing in our upper back, we're taking through the whole length of the spine. Exhale, rounding or flexing the spine forward. And inhale, going the other way. Do 1 more time, please, rounding the spine forward. And inhale, go the other way. Return to neutral spine and keep the angle of the torso. So now we're deliberately on a forward tilt here. You can deepen that forward tilt if you like, and of course you can hold on to your bar or countertop if you like. Let's keep the arms either by the sides or on the hips. Do the thing that feels least weird for your shoulders. And on the exhale now, stretch the legs. Inhale, bend the knees, keep your kegel, allow the sitting bones to stretch apart. Keep the integrity of the shoulders, not pressing them down or collapsing them forward. We squeeze the ball. And exhale, stretch the legs. All right, we have 3 more of these, bending the knees. And this is very much like a push-up, sans the arms. Straighten the legs, 2 more. Inhale, bend. Use and feel the muscles in the back of your arms and your middle back to help maintain the shoulder position. Stretch the legs. And then bend into the knees, round the spine, and roll up. Good. Put your ball off to the side for a moment. And we'll go ahead and do a plank and go a little bit more quickly into shoulders this morning. Quickly, but not carelessly. You find the countertop or wall you're going to lean into. Keep your feet underneath you. Soften your knees a little bit, right? So that your heels are able to stay down. And lean forward into your surface. Having leaned forward into your surface, we're at an angle again. Please exhale and stretch your legs. Feel the heels grounding. And then on your inhale, open your chest and bend your elbows halfway. Breathe here. Keep the alignment and integrity through the bottom of the ribs. And keep the length through the waist. So you're not just stabilizing the rib cage with a lot of compression or hunkering down into the pelvis. We're holding here, and on that exhale breath, you feel a stretching as well as affirming through the sides of the waist. We have 2 more exhales in place. And 1 more. Release your neck. Now listen, inhale, bend your elbows a 1/2 inch more. And exhale, straighten your arms. We continue into a set of 10 push-ups. That was 1. Inhale, bend your elbows. And exhale, straightening your arms. Now we do the more classic version of push-ups, the push-ups with the arms. Keep the line of the spine and also the extension of the hips. So we're going to feel some glute tone as well as some work through the medial quads, the inner thighs. Feel length down through the front of the pelvis rather than tucking. And every time you exhale and push away, feel action in the lower belly, like deep in the bottom part of the pelvis. Your Kegel and muscles in the lower belly working to support the foundation of core. Remembering that the energy is upward. We have 2 more. Upward through the crown. Downward through the heels. When you've pushed away, widen your stance. We release the arms a little bit into stretch as we pull the hips back, bending the knees. Nod your head yes, and turn your head no. And then shift over to one side a little bit. So for instance, if I stretch my left leg a little bit, I'll shift to the right and also stretch under the left shoulder. I can go the other way, stretching through my right leg, and that'll increase the stretch underneath the arm, the shoulder, as well as down into the side of the waist. You can do that another time to each side if that felt pretty good. No reason to keep the head overly still. And then in center, round and roll up. Shake your arms out. Now we're going to return to squats and use a wider spacing between the legs, as well as some weights in the hands. If you have a wider ball, you can use that. Otherwise, we'll just have about the space of a beach ball. Right? Super precise, but you know what I mean. Right, so we'll be going into a deeper squat, of course, allowing a deeper tilt at the pelvis, and we will be using our arms for this as well. So I'll give you a side view. We want to keep the heels grounded and track the knees forward. And on the exhale breath, engage the line of the inner thighs as well as the connection through core. On your inhale, reach your hips back, your chest forward, and lift the arms in front of you. So it's a slight extension for upper ribs and shoulders. And then exhale, return to full standing. Inhale, hips go behind, arms go in front. And then exhale, power from the back of the hips to come to straight legs. And we've had a lot of practice here maintaining plank line. We want to return to that awareness of when we're in our neutral line, not only through the spine, but through the hips. So we practice that there. Each time we stand up, activating the glutes, right? The muscles in the thighs and the lower abs. So same sets of muscles as we had in plank. We have a couple more here. And last one. Put your weights down for a moment and bring your feet underneath you. So we had the legs apart, and you can definitely feel when you're on one leg or the other. A little easier to find when the legs are underneath you, but maybe a little less clear because the legs are closer. We're going to stand on one leg and do some plies. And so we want the strength of each individual leg and the alignment over one of them. Right, so I'm gonna pick up my right foot, and I'm gonna have a hand on my desk or countertop for a moment here. So before starting my plie, I'm gonna see that, all right, for most of us, there's a lot of mobility in the hip here. All right, it's a nice thing, but you don't want to sink into collapse through the center or strain into the outside. So push into the big toe. Feel your tailbone squaring under the base of your head, and then feel core muscles lifting up internally. Right. So your midline is over your big toe, and then inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, straighten the leg. And here we are working into extension of the hip, no longer tilting the torso forward. The core has an easier job of it with the spine, and the legs have a little bit more work as you come into the single leg hip extension. Try not to push from the outer part of the hip or the trochanter. Push through your big toe and lift through your inner thigh. And I know I've got my hand on my outer hip because this is the side I like to cheat on. And it's very easy for me to revert to overly working the outer hip and thigh, which on me are a little bit over engaged. We have two more. Lengthening. And one more. Put your right foot down. Grab a countertop, kick your left heel forward, and stretch over that leg. So I'm getting into this part under the thigh with our stretch. You take the lean as deeply as you need to at the hip. And then if you like, you can round the spine and stretch there as well. Another breath in and out. And go ahead and come up and shake that leg out. Okay. So you can stand wide for a moment or with the feet underneath you, anything that helps you determine, okay, when am I on my right leg now? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to stand on our right leg, plug into the big toe, and at first holding onto the countertop, just kind of fish around. Okay, where can my hip go? And where's that point in the middle where I'm balanced over my axis? Once you've got that point, we resume our plies, inhaling to bend the knee and exhaling to stretch. Notice when you bend the knee, so very often we'll start with a nice square position at the top. Notice when you bend the knee, if your tailbone tends to swish to either side. Right? Wagging tails is usually a happy thing, but for us this morning, doing this exercise, not so much. Four more, inhaling and exhaling. Now, as you plie and stretch, the leg that you're not standing on, you also want to be careful not to collapse through. Right, so dragging yourself out of position by loss of support for that side. I'm going to do one more because I'm not sure if I did enough yet. Inhale and exhale. Other foot goes down. Kick your standing heel forward. Hinge from the hips. And if you like to add a rounding of the spine, you can do that. Roll up. Shake out your leg when you're ready. We're going to do a little bit with the rotators of the legs, returning to standing on our left leg and keeping parallel there. So hand on the countertop. You already know about aligning the hips, so you can do those adjustments on your own. We're going to kick the right heel forward and then turn laterally in parallel. Warming up the rotators. We are keeping a light activity through the hip flexors. Make that through the inner thigh line as well. Try not to lean back away from the leg you're standing on. And the next time you rotate laterally, keep it. We're going to sweep back and forth. Exhale to bring the leg forward. Inhale to take the leg back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. One more, please. And then we bring the leg forward and draw a semicircle with the heel. forward, and then take the leg back. Draw a semicircle with your heel. Stay over the inner thigh of your standing leg. We do one more in each direction. Bring it forward, supporting left side of the body as you rotate the leg around. Sweep forward, take it back, and then around. Parallel. And both feet to the ground. Stand on your right foot, the one that was just waving around in space, and cross your other ankle over the knee and sit back slowly. That standing on one leg does require work through the outer hip in terms of helping to stabilize the outside of that joint, even if your weight was correctly placed over the inner thigh or through the axis. So a little bit of stretch here, right, can be a good thing. And then come up, put that foot on the ground. Stretch your right leg back. Have another breath cycle here. Inhale and exhale. And then we stand on the other side and do the whole sequence in the new direction. So I'm going to have a different hand on my countertop or windowsill. Identify when I'm on the correct place in my new leg. Okay. And then standing on the new leg, bring the left foot, in this case, forward. We just rotate out to the side a little bit. And then back to parallel. Inhale. Exhale. And the next time you rotate out to the side or laterally, leave it, exhale, and inhale, sweep the leg back. We are parallel, ideally, on the standing leg. Exhale, sweep the leg forward, and inhale back. And trying not to lose support for the side that isn't on the ground. And kind of the next level. We have one more of these. Forward and back. Inhale to the back. Exhale, forward. And then draw a semicircle with your heel. Inhale. Exhale, sweep forward. Inhale, take it to the back. Exhale, draw your semicircle with your heel. Inhale, take it back. One more in each direction. Exhale, bring it forward. And around, breathe in deeply, stay over your standing leg. Inhale, take it back. And exhale, around, grow tall. Inhale, parallel. Exhale, foot down. Ooh, we're gonna cross that standing leg, the ankle over the other one. Oh, yay. Right. A lot of use of stabilizers in the hip. Another breath or two. And then shake that out. All right, we're going to do some plies in a wide laterally rotated position. And so, right, find your lateral rotation and you can step the feet up.
Joyce?
Oh, shoot. Thank you. Please lunge your left foot back. This is why I do live classes. We have quality control here. Thank you. Keep me honest. I got so excited about second position plies, not gonna lie. When you've done your lunge, bring your foot forward. All right. Actually, what I got excited about was taking off my jacket because now I'm warm. So moving on, we'll do our second position plies. You can try without the bar. We are eventually going to be doing some work with our weights in a second position. And so kind of warming up that ability to hold your balance there is probably a good idea. All right, so we've had our figure 4 stretch, we've had our lunge. We'll find our turnout, and you can either tendu to get there, or you can just step the feet apart. Put my glasses back on so I can see you. All right, now we've got a nice wide space between the pelvis, right, as well as lateral rotation, so a lot of freedom theoretically through the inner hips and thighs. With your hands either on the front of the pelvis or maybe one front, one back, I'd like you to exhale and bend the knees. Begin bending the knees, that is, and feel that you can start to lower the hips without tilting the pelvis. You can inhale and go a little bit more deeply, and then exhale, feel your feet against the ground and begin to push the ground from there, inhaling to complete the extension of the legs and hips. It's a 4-breath pattern. Exhale, begin to guide the knees open to the line of the ankles and the toes. And inhale to lower. Exhale, push from the floor. And inhale to complete the stretch. Please do 2 more of these. Initiate on exhale. Go to the depth of your plie on inhale. Start to push on exhale, lifting from your core, and complete the stretch on inhale. And 1 more on your own timing. Feel that the body can be balanced upright. Good. And then go ahead and just shift a little side to side. Come to parallel, bend, shift a little side to side. And then grab your weights, please. So this won't be a true second position, but it will be a wide position with a little bit of lateral rotation. Let's call it second-ish. All right, second-ish. We want the knees to track with the toes. And we're gonna do essentially that tilt forward from the hips, all right? Stick your rear end out at back and lower your hands almost to the ground. Exhale, extend. Inhale, flex at the hips and tilt the torso forward, almost touch the ground. And exhale, push. Keep going here. So it's a second version of our deeper lunge. And I'd like you to focus on your glutes. Balancing the tone of the glutes with ab tone. We have 4 more. As you straighten the legs. So in the gym, you might see people doing this with, multi-100-pound barbells. It's the same in principle in terms of the muscles that you're trying to target. 1 more. And then pause. So I'll face you again. Now we can keep second-ish. And I'd like you to bring the arms up to the shoulders. We'll inhale and bend into the knees, keeping the torso upright. And then exhale, push from the ground into the extension of the shoulders and arms. Inhale, bend. Let's do 8 of these. So we're still using the back of the hips in the same way, balancing it with the abs. We're still using our quads and inner thighs. 4 more. And we're trying to push from the core with support from the legs. through the work of the arms rather than pushing from the neck. And I think I've done 8. I'm going to do an extra just because. With the arms lifted high, open them to the side. Inhale. Let them come down as far as you're comfortable with an external rotation of the shoulders, and then exhale. And you can't see my arms overhead, but I'm bringing them up to where they were. Inhale. There's a reformer exercise called Hug the Moon. Exhale. So you can think of hugging the moon. New moon coming up this weekend. I understand that if you're in India or Pakistan, you can see an annular eclipse of the sun where it gets that little ring of fire around the outer edge of the dark moon. I am indeed trying to distract you to one more, but it's also a fun fact. Exhale. Inhale. Bring the arms to parallel along your sides and step your feet in. So we're going to pause in a parallel position and do just a little bit with the biceps alternating across the sides so we have stability work as well as biceps work. So feel your feet. Align everything. And on the next exhale, bend one elbow. Inhale. Go through this set and we're going to attempt to do 10 to each side. So starting on 3. Now, I'm also trying not to let my spine be jerked around by the weights as I move my arms. And to do that, I'm going to keep my legs and my core rather than trying to stabilize the top of my spine with neck and shoulder tightness. Common strategy, don't recommend it. We're on 6, I think. And 7. And 8. And 9. 10. And release the work of the arms. Pardon me, I'm checking my clock here. It's almost time to go to the floor. We are going to do a half 100, right, in a lunge position. So I'd like you to step your left foot forward, and you'll see what I mean about that. Right foot back, and then establish a neutral spine into a neutral relationship with the back leg. Turn the palms to the back and extend through your triceps. Feel work there. Prepare with an exhale, opening the chest, and begin. Inhale 5 times, pulse the arms. Exhale. Inhale. Two more sets. Last set. Arms come forward and release their medial rotation. Back foot steps forward. Okay. And so it's work for the triceps, it's work for the shoulder stability. Because we get to do another set, we're going to revisit the work through the low abs. So we have right foot forward, left foot back. We're stable and steady here. And we establish our line. Okay. Hands rotate to the back. And as you exhale and extend to the back through the shoulders, I want you to pull the belly wall in, like the action of the arms drawing back is attached to something on the inside of the belly wall that goes back as well. Continue 5 more sets. Inhale. Arms forward, return for medial rotation, step forward. Go ahead and put your weights down. And we're gonna come onto the mat. So as you arrange your mat, bring your weights with you and bring your block or your ball, whatever you've been using for inner thighs. You can see me there. Yeah. Change my camera angle just a little bit. You can also have a blanket if you like it under your head. I'm gonna lie back, have the weights nearby, and with bent knees, put the ball between the inner thighs. Okay. Building on the 100, we have a final set of 5 sets. This time, we're going to keep the inhale smooth. We're going to think of the exhale as being one long breath out that just happens to have 4 pauses, which divides it up into 5 segments. So kind of a hybrid of our initial breathing plus the 100. We have a neutral spine. I'd like you to Kegel here. And then inhale. Have one exhale where you squeeze the ball. And then we begin formally. Keep your Kegel. Inhale smoothly. And divide the exhale up into 5 sections. Inhale smoothly. And as you exhale in those 5 segments, each time you build intensity in core, awareness of pelvic floor, and drawing in through the belly wall. Inhale. 3 more times, please. What you do not build is compression or tension in the back or neck. Avoid pressing the belly outward. You could alternatively shift your hands to the sides of your waist and you should feel muscles there firming. Inhale, 1 more set of exhales. And then inhale, grab the weights in your hands, please. We'll extend the arms forward and continue with a little bit of overhead work, as it were, or shoulder extension. This time the palms facing inward, so no rotation really at the shoulders, just pure extension to the back. Kegel and inhale in preparation for that arm movement. And then on a long, slow, continuous exhale, you reach the arms back, extending the shoulders as you also deepen your core engagement. Hold the extension, inhale, keep your Kegel. And exhale long and slow, returning the arms. We do that 3 more times. Prepare and exhale. All of the breath work is core work. Reach the arms back, engaging inner thighs, but not outer hips. Plug into your big toes. And exhale, return. Now as the arms reach back, we have a slight extension or opening through the upper chest. Please take care to keep the bottom of the ribs in line. Stretching downward into their connection with core. And please do 1 more repetition. Exhale. With the arms here, or forward, vertical in space, turn the palms away And we do some push-ups from like a wide position. So when we bend the elbows, I'd like you to inhale once more and open the elbows out to the side, spreading the chest. Exhale, push through the chest, bringing the arms directly forward of the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in and out. 3 more. Last one. And then finally turn the palms inward last time. Another 2-breath pattern. We inhale and open across the chest, keeping the arms straight or straightish. And then exhale, squeeze the ball, deepen, and bring the arms forward of the shoulders. Inhale, 6 total. All of this done in neutral. So again, ideally bringing core into a more reflexive habit with the rest of your life in a neutral posture. 2 more. Last one. Put your weights down. Feet on the ground. You can rearrange your feet if you don't feel like they're in a good spot for hip rolls. I like to have mine a little close so I get a sense of vertical pressure downward through the soles of my feet. Start in your neutral, and if you have your head lifted a lot forward, lower it down or eliminate your head mat. And as the arms rest back on the exhale, begin hip rolls by imprinting the spine. Continue to flex through each vertebral joint in the spine as you continue to exhale and roll up. All breath work here this morning is core work. Allow the chest to lift through the arms. The arms are in essence, or the shoulders are in essence, in a slight extension behind the body. Inhale here and exhale, curve it down. Allow the ribs and the spine to flex without altering the relationship of the shoulders to the ribs. Keeping the arms back into the ground. We do 2 more of these, guys. You continue on your own pacing. Be sure to include inner thighs and your kegel, using your exhale for the flexion. When you hit neutral at the top, feel it not just through the spine, but through the hips, and then reach the knees away from the shoulders, putting your weight into your feet vertically down the line of the shins. Exhale and roll down. Please complete 1 more repetition. Also making it a goal to not use the muscles of the back to lift the hips. Right, the hip extensors are their own sets of muscles. Your glutes are working. The hamstrings pull back and the abs lift forward. Right, the spine isn't an extension. We've got light tone through the shoulders to maintain their position, but no real work along the muscles of the back. No pressing the middle of the spine upward. When you've returned to neutral, put your ball off to the side and stretch your legs out long. With your legs stretched out long, flex and point your feet a couple of times. We are going to be sitting in a moment and doing some stretches there. Rock your feet left and right, both in the same direction. And then without moving your pelvis, walk your feet to the right. Keep both hips on the mat. Very often that means you're going to cross your right ankle over your left and kind of glue everything down. Keep this deep curve through the lower body. And again, without moving the pelvis, now bend from the waist, bringing the shoulders and the chest to the right, keeping both shoulders flat and keeping the head square to the ceiling. You can leave the arms down, or you can lift the left arm overhead and complete the stretch through left side of the body. Some folks like to take both shoulders into extension and rest the arms back, more overhead. Nice side stretch here. One more breath in and out. And then if your arms are lifted in any sense, bring them down along your sides. Return through center with the upper body, uncross your ankles, return through center with the lower body or the legs, right? Stretch here. Odds are that left side is going to feel weirdly long compared to the right. We'll fix that. And let's do that now. Keep your pelvis where it is and walk your feet to the left or slide them to the left. If you need to glue down the right hip, you can cross the right ankle over the left ankle over the right, pardon me. And then keeping the hips centered, move the head, the shoulders, the chest to the left as well, stretching open through the right side of the body. Gaze is forward to the ceiling, head, shoulders, and hips are all square. You can lift the right arm overhead or back behind you if that feels good, or you can take both arms there. You might also get a pretty good stretch in the deep hip flexors through this right side. Got that hip in extension and we're bending away from it. So often that gives a little bit of length there. Have another breath out. Bring your arms down. Adjust your head, your upper body, uncross your legs, adjust your lower body, and roll off to one side so you can come up to a seated position. So we're going to take about 5 minutes and do some stretching, right? Completing our hour of class. You might want to sit up on a blanket or even a cushion. And we're going to start in a butterfly forward fold. All right, sometimes called a Baddha Konasana in yoga class. Scooch back for a little bit here. Keep the soles of the feet together, pardon me, hiccup, and lean a little side to side or rock a little side to side until you feel the sitting bones settling. We want to put balance into the bottom of the hips and support that with the soles of the feet together as we start to lean the pelvis forward. Right, sometimes sitting upright is enough. We are going to try and find the limit of that flexion forward and then relax the body over the torso, allowing the spine to ease into a curve. We did so much for inner thighs today. This is a lateral rotation as we open through the inner thighs, so working in a little bit more naturally open position. We're not here for super long, but we'll take about a half minute more. Relax the back into balance, so the back of your torso and hips. Release your neck. Have another breath in and out. And go ahead and roll up. Put your right foot flat to the ground. Extend your left leg out in front. And turn toward the right, wrapping your elbow around your knee, putting the right hand behind, and framing the hips with the shoulders. Twist to the right. And then let that go. We're going to open the right leg out to the side and stretch it. And bend the right knee and put the sole of the foot against the inner thigh. Turn again toward the right so that the center of your chest lines up with the top of the thigh. And then bend forward in a parallel way over this right leg. Now, if your left knee is not having it, you can open it out to the side, right? You can untuck, right, and have it a little bit out of the way. Or you can just elongate the posture or adjust the angle of the foot. Another breath in and out. And then release the forward stretch. Wherever your left foot is, we're going to bend the knee and put the foot on the ground. Bring the right leg parallel, and we start our twist to the left. So just a little mini stretch sequence will complete to the other side. Turn toward this lifted knee, maybe hook it with your elbow, left hand goes behind. And as the shoulders frame the hips, you get a nice deep twist. Not in the pelvis, and we talk at length about that. We don't want to shear the sides of the pelvis against the sacrum. Instead, we want to twist deeply in the waist, in the connective tissue that surrounds our internal organs, as well as in the muscles. Almost there. Let go of your twist. Left leg is going to open up out to the side. Right knee bends or at least gets out of the way. We turn again to the left. Center of the chest aligning with the center of the leg or the inner thigh anyway. And then stretch forward. Three more inhales and exhales. And then bring yourself up. Unfold your legs and lie onto your back. You're going to put a head mat under your head if that's comfortable. And we'll give the knees a big squish in once you've laid down. We're winding up here. So giving the knees a hug in. Rock a little side to side. Feel that as a soothing motion, as well as the ability to reposition hips and reset the legs and the spine. And then separate the legs to hip width. Extend the soles, the knees really, to bring the soles of the feet upward. And just again, maybe rock. You can support the back of your legs. You can do a full up happy baby if you know what that is and you like it. And then bring the legs together and push the soles of your feet up to the ceiling. If your knees are a little bent, that's fine. We're only here for a couple of breaths. Feel that as the spine falls back and is fully grounded, the legs stretch forward and the breath and indeed the energy of core reaches through the length of those legs, pressing through the soles of the feet and elongates you not through only through the legs, but also through the waist, through the crown. One more exhale. Bend the knees, and one at a time, place a foot on the floor. Release the pelvis to a neutral position, and again, one at a time, slide the legs long. We finish here. Let your arms rest back. I suggest palms up. It's a nice open rotation through the shoulders. Eyes open or closed. 3 rounds of breath. Don't even think about core. Core is functioning because your breath is moving and you're really just relaxing and letting go of the efforts of this last hour. Inhale once more. If the eyes are shut, open them. Keep the focus soft and exhale in a sigh. Now you can lie here for as long as you want. Class is done though, so I'll get up and turn the video off. I'm glad you stopped in today for this nice basic level barre tune-up. So thanks for that and have a great day. We'll see you next time.